Hello, and welcome to Untwisted Threads. This is Drops Alpaca. This 100% alpaca yarn features 55 colors. The colorway that we chose is 0618 Light Beige Mix. This 50-gram skein with 167 meters or 183 yards works up as a fingering or sport weight yarn. The suggested gauge on 3mm needles is 24 stitches and 32 rows per 4 inches or 10 centimeters. For my swatch, I will be using a 3mm needle size. In today's video, we're going to review and score Drops Alpaca using our 5 categories, which are availability, softness, traction, durability, and cost, to help you decide if this is the best yarn for you in your next project. Stay tuned until the end for a few pattern recommendations as well. Let's get started. For availability, we give Drops Alpaca a score of 2.5 out of 5. Currently, this yarn is available at only a few shops in the US and a few colors on Amazon. However, I purchased and shipped mine from Wool Warehouse based in the United Kingdom and was very satisfied with how easy it was to order my yarn and have it shipped to me here in the United States. For softness, we give it a score of 4.6 out of 5. Now, I haven't worked with a ton of alpaca yarns, but I was impressed with this one. On a micron count scale, alpaca has a wide range of softness, as some are of course softer than others, but on an average it's around a 24, which is softer than Peruvian Highland wool and typically a little bit less soft than merino, but not always. For a comparison of this yarn, it is slightly softer than Barocco Ultra Alpaca Light and not as soft as Isager Eco Baby. I think it is a little ironic that Drops Alpaca is softer than Drops Soft Tweed, which is an alpaca and merino blend, so in my head I'm thinking that yarn should be softer, but it's not, and now I think I'm getting a little sidetracked here. If you're sensitive to wool yarns, or more specifically alpaca yarns, you shouldn't have any issues with wearing this yarn, but I absolutely recommend making a swatch with this one first and trying it out before you make an entire garment with it. In terms of warmth, alpaca fibers are lighter and warmer than sheep's wool, but also breathable. Their fibers contain air pockets that can provide great insulation in the winter, but are also breathable, allowing it to keep you cool in the summer, making it naturally thermoregulating. As a fun fact, it can absorb up to 11% of its weight in moisture, meaning it can dry fast and insulate better than merino wool when wet. For traction, we give it a score of 4.5 out of 5. Surprisingly, with its super long fiber strands, it didn't stick together or cause me any issues. It's kind of like they're there and they're hanging out, but they're not getting into any trouble or in my way, if that makes any sense. It wasn't sticking together and it had a good grip without much drag on my needles. If you're used to wooden or bamboo needles, it may cause too much grip or control, so I preferred using my nickel-plated needles. And kind of similar to what I described with Drop Sky, I was a little disappointed with the stitch definition of this yarn, even after blocking my swatch. But with as long as the fibers are, you can't really see the stitches super clearly anyways, but that is something for you to keep in mind. For durability, we give it a score of 4.5 out of 5. Alpaca actually stands up better to everyday wear compared to wool. Similar to Peruvian Highland wool, because of the harsh environments of Peru and in the Andes, alpaca wool is much hardier than, say, a merino wool. But similar to other non-superwash treated wools, you will need to hand wash your garment made with this yarn to prevent felting of the fibers. However, as for the nature of alpaca fibers, you will be happy to hear that it is the only wool in the world that is pill resistant. So yes, you'll have to be cautious about it felting, but at least you won't have to worry about pilling, making it a little bit easier to care for. For cost, we give it a score of 4.8 out of 5. For being a 50-gram skein, you can expect to pay only $4.25 US per skein. This breaks down to approximately 2 cents per yard, meaning a size medium sweater would cost approximately $30 US, which is incredible for an alpaca because it is typically pretty expensive because the alpaca population is small and the fiber yield per animal is much lower than that of sheep or silkworms. Overall, we give Drops Alpaca a score of 4.18 out of 5. So if you're looking for a soft yarn that is not superwash treated and won't pill, this might be a good option for you to consider. For the price, I would highly recommend you at least try it out to see what you think if you're interested in a yarn with a long fiber halo and is of course soft and insulating. So we had a little look on Ravelry and wanted to share a few pattern recommendations with you, hopefully to inspire you if you're wanting to use Drops Alpaca for a project of your own. The first pattern is the Eclat Beret by Vanessa Pellisa, a tribute to the understated elegance of classic chic Parisian style. The Eclat Beret is a fun pattern that can be knit either bottom up or top down. You get to pick your choice. When I think of projects for fuzzy yarns or yarn with a halo, it makes me think of a white beret I had growing up as a kid, so I just had to find a beret pattern that would suit this yarn. Because it sits kind of on the back of your head, even if you find alpaca irritating, it might not be too irritating for this pattern because it's not next to your skin and especially not your face. I love the brown color that she chose for her sample, but I personally would love to see it in a camel or cream colorway too. The next pattern is Sonrae by Jennifer Steingass. This top-down sweater is worked seamlessly and in the round. The stranded yoke is worked and short rows is used to shape the neckline. The body and sleeves are separated and worked top to bottom and is finished with a ribbed hem and colorwork cuffs. The yoke chart is easy to follow and calls for just 2 colors per row. Now, since the pattern recommends either fingering or sport weight yarn, I think this pattern could be a great choice for this yarn as it can fit either gauge depending on your choice of needle size. As I mentioned, Drops Alpaca has 55 colorway options, so of course I think a colorwork garment could be a great choice to show off some of their pretty colorways. And with the long fibers of the yarn, I imagine that the colors would melt together so nicely. The last pattern is Aamu by Isabell Kraemer. This round yoke sweater is worked seamlessly from the top down. After the turtleneck is done, some short rows are worked back and forth to create a higher back neck. Then, the colorful rounded yoke is worked top down to the sleeve separation, where some last short rows finish the yoke shaping. Sleeve stitches are placed on hold to work the body first down to the hem. Then, sleeve stitches are picked up again to work the sleeves in the round down to the cuffs. I couldn't help myself but to recommend another colorwork project for this yarn, as this pattern recommends 6 different colors. Of course, this is where my indecisiveness might come in, because there are just so many beautiful colors to choose from. I think it would be so difficult to make my selection. Have you used Drops Alpaca yarn before? What yarn would you like for us to do a review on next? We would love to hear your thoughts and recommendations in the comments below. If you enjoyed today's review, please give this video a like and subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you next time.